The Monday, May 5th meeting of the Fitchburg School Committee. I call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting an audio and video broadcast of this meeting, audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. Anyone in the audience who's recording this meeting, please identify yourself. Seeing none. I ask now that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode. Okay. Now we have salute to the flag. I am up in the order, so I will lead us in the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Next up on our agenda, we have school committee members and student reports. School committee chair report, none at this time. Resource subcommittee.
Resource will be meeting on May 13th. And same school building needs will be meeting on May 13th.
All right, May 13th for Resource Subcommittee and School Building Needs. Any comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Policy Subcommittee.
Okay, we met last Wednesday, April 30th, and we continued our work on Section J. We will meet again on both June 4th and June 25th. Both meetings will be held at central office from 5 to 7. We're hoping to complete our work during these two meetings. If we do, we plan to send our updated policies to the full school committee on July 1st for review. And we'd like to propose that the mayor call a special meeting on Monday, August 25th, for the purpose of having all the policies on the agenda. We then could have a vote to approve the policies at our first regular school committee meeting on Monday, September 15th. This timeline gives school committee members almost 2 months with the new policies, and it starts off the new year with everything in place. So we're hoping that you could consider that.
Can I add one piece to that, if that's okay? And then not only will it be, all the policies will be available to the school committee, we'll also make it available to the public.
Oh, absolutely.
So anybody who wants to come and comment on the policies can come on August 25th.
Correct.
So
Everyone
will have that.
So we are completing the policy J and there's something after J?
K and L.
K and L.
Yep.
J, K, and L.
And the J section is the largest of all the policies, and K and L are very short, so we should be able to get everything done by the end of June.
So by the end of June, we submit it to DESE, or we submit it to us?
Submit it to you.
We don't, we don't need to do DESE with us.
Nope.
Okay, so we submit it to the school committee July 1st. We will then have approximately 2 months.
Yep.
And which Monday, August 25th, we'll call a special meeting. 6 p.m.
Yep.
Yep.
That date work with the committee?
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
We'll discuss later, but
Awesome.
that works for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments on policy subcommittee?
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah, great job.
Thanks.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of interesting work, very informative, and
I think we've learned a lot. I know I have.
Definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of the old policies and then being able to format it for
Right,
future.
and some of them we changed because the law has now changed. And when we are done, we will still get updates sent to us so that we can update as far as when laws change and things like that. So we're in a good place.
It's been very helpful working with DESE directly, MASC directly.
Absolutely. Tracy Novick.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's so great.
Excellent.
Yeah, she knows her stuff.
All right. Very good. Any further comments, questions? All right. Thank you, guys. School Student Support Subcommittee.
Thank you very much. We met this afternoon, and we had one one important topic that we discussed, and that was the school year 2025-2026 vertical alignment strategies. We talk about Superintendent presented to us the data equity pause protocol for Fitchburg, and he also gave us the system and structure indicators that the district is planning to use for change. He talked about the professional learning community, PLC, and also professional learning inclusive of feedback and coaching. Our next meeting is scheduled to be May the 2nd. And we'll continue to work on strategies to improve the academic performance of our students, not only in mathematics, but also in all the topics, but with major focus on English language arts. Thank you very much.
June 2nd?
June 2nd.
June 2nd.
June 2nd. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Thank you, Dr. Knight. Any questions?
You are very welcome, Madam Mayor.
Any questions or comments? Okay, great. Thank you very much. So, School Personnel Subcommittee, we have no report at this time. Student Representative Report, our Representative James Cannon.
When I was doing the report writing the report for the last meeting, I didn't realize the next one would be right the week after. So a lot of these are going to be the same things I said last week. So sorry about that.
Feel free to just speak them slowly.
AP testing has just begun this week at FHS, so best of luck to all students in AP classes. On May 7th at 4:30, Fitchburg is facing Leominster at a track meet at Crocker Field, and then at 6 there will be a ceremony to officially dedicate the new field to Eric Kootenin and Christopher Woods, who were past FHS coaches. FHS's prom, Night of 1,000 Lights, is on May 10th from 6 to 10 p.m. at Mount Wachusett. FHS is having a Scholars Banquet to recognize its highest achieving students on May 14th at 6 p.m. at Great Wolf Lodge. FHS Alumni Awards Night is on May 21st at 6 at FHS, and then Senior Awards Night is on the 28th at 6 at FHS. Fitchburg Public Schools is holding the annual Heart of the Burg Art Show at the Fitchburg Senior Center, 14 Wallace Ave, on May 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. The Fitchburg Public Schools High School Relays are on May 15th at 6, and the Middle School Relays are on May 29th at 6, both at Crocker Field. The new MVP building has just recently opened at 270 Westminster Street, and also this week is Teacher Appreciation Week, so happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question. Excuse me, James. What night was the senior awards night?
Oh,
Please, sorry.
I think May 14th?
That was
Scholars?
the 28th.
28th, thank you. Okay.
And then the 14th was the Scholar Banquet.
Scholars.
Oh, banquet, right.
Scholars.
And the awards night is the 28th, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the Alumni Awards Night is on the 21st.
20.
Okay.
But then there's also the Red and Gray Athletic Award Night on the 20th.
Oh, did
Red
I
and
miss
gray
that?
isn't the same as the awards night?
No, it's different. No.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dates. I will have Mary Alexandra send them to all of you.
Thank you.
Because I don't want anyone to miss it. The other day, Jeremy and I actually had to sit with our calendars to make sure we had all our dates. So I have all of those. I'll make sure you have those on your calendars too.
Thank you.
May is busy.
May is busy month, yes.
Just have a question. I noticed what is on the screen. Aren't they covering, the meeting, what we say as we talk?
This is what we're going to be talking, they can see this, they see something different at home,
Or
Rosemary.
is there something different?
This is something different. I just have this queued up, ready to go. It's just for us, for later on. Yep.
So the athletic awards are on the 20th?
The Red and Gray Athletic Awards
Or on the
are on the 20th from 6:30 to 8:30.
Okay.
But Mr. Walsh, if you want to look in the minutes from the previous meeting that you should have in your packet, all those dates are listed.
Okay,
As
all
he
right.
spoke
We'll
about
pull
them
those
last
out and
week.
send them to you by email too.
So, last.
Just
okay.
one more comment on the Alumni Award Night. We will be giving awards to 100 students that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. Scholarships?
Yes.
Awesome.
We call them awards. Yeah, so it's 100, and we'll probably be giving about $100,000 too, so.
Woo. Generous alumni.
It's great.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments for our student representative? All right.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
James?
So next on our agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from the previous school committee of April 28th, and it does have a lot of these dates on it.
I make a motion, we approve the April 28th minutes.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes from the meeting of April 28th. Comments? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda, we have communications from the CAPS Collaborative Board of Directors nominations and the Keystone Collaborative Executive Board nominations.
So that's the yearly, so yearly we recommend someone to sit on the board for CAPS and Keystone. Like I said, this is done yearly, and it is that time of year that we need to do that, so.
Can we take the two action items out of order and nominate somebody and approve them now?
It's up to the mayor.
Yes, because otherwise the action item we have is 25-511 and 25-512?
Yes, those are the two action items for Board of Directors for CAPS and Keystone.
Okay, do we have what is the communication for the nominations from the CAPS Collaborative? Do we have an actual nomination, or is
No,
that from
no,
us
that's from us,
individually?
individual.
And so currently, Pete Stevens serves as our CAPS Collaborative, and Rosemary Reynolds serves as our Keystone Collaborative?
Yes.
Yeah, I have served on the CAPS Collaborative for 15 years, and I am currently have been the chairman of the Board of Directors for this 10th year. And I work very hard to keep the costs down for us, and our costs are considerably less than Keystone for sending our special ed kids there. In fact, I met with Desi this afternoon with our executive director, Sherry D'Alfo, and the CAPS is going strong, doing very well.
Rosemary, would you like to give us an update on the Keystone Collaborative, your service there?
Well, they also had the budget meeting, approving the budget request this last meeting, and they've done tremendous work, really tremendous work converting the former Apple Farm in Pierce Road in Leominster, and it's quite a building to see. The whole thing is quite excellent and humbling.
Yes, so the Apple Tree Hill or Apple Tree Farm over in Leominster?
What's it called? Yeah, over whatever. Yes.
That is a
right.
beautiful
It's state of the art.
Okay, I guess, I would ask, we could move towards taking these action items out of order. Would we like to approach that, or do we want to ask questions of our current representatives first? Does anyone have any questions of our current representatives before we move to nominations? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion to take the items out of order.
Second?
Motion and second to take 25-511 and 25-512 out of order, to approve our school committee's recommendation and nominate a member to serve on the board of directors for the CAPS Collaborative and the Keystone Collaborative for the 2025 to 2026 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those items are out of order.
Make a motion to action item 25-511, approve school committee's recommendation to nominate Mr. Peter Stevens to serve on the board of directors of the CAPS Collaborative for 2025-2026 school year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second to approve, to nominate and approve Pete Stevens to serve on the board of directors for CAPS Collaborative. Any comments or questions on this motion? Seeing,
Who was the second for that? I'm sorry.
Lindsay.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous approval. Thank you.
Comment, I've been on the CAPS board for 15 years, and I've never missed a regular scheduled meeting in 15 years.
That is quite
That's
the
impressive.
accomplishment.
And I've been on the Fitchburg School Board. This is the 16th year, and you can check the records. I have never missed a regular scheduled meeting on the Fitchburg School Committee. in 15 years.
That's
Thank
how
you
know
for your
everything,
dedication.
Keith.
Seriously.
All right, thank you very much. Now we have 25
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, you're welcome.
We have 25-512 for the Keystone Collaborative. Do we have a nomination?
Go ahead,
I'll
Deb.
nominate Rosemary Reynolds to serve on the Executive Board of the Keystone Collaborative for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to nominate and approve Rosemary Reynolds to serve on the Executive Board for the Keystone Collaborative. Comments and questions? I assume you're good with this, Rosemary? Yes. Very good. Any comments or questions from the committee? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I take that as unanimous. Thank you very much for your service, Rosemary and Pete. Okay. Let's see. Do we have everything we need for that
Yes.
nomination?
I think we're all set, and I think we
Superintendent?
had
Just another communication.
another communication.
Oh, another communication, yes.
I just wanted to mention that on Friday, I was able to attend the Fitchburg Airport with Counselor Sally Cragen, Dr. Tara Sweeney, the ROTC group from Fitchburg High School, and the STEM students. And the director, Mr. Peter Kettle, gave us an amazing tour. We saw a great presentation. There's so much more to that airport than our general public realizes. You know, it was began operating in 1929, and it's growing. And he was mentioning, you know, the businesses that are there now. There are 8 businesses, and one of them that does repairs on a couple of the planes actually has customers that they fly their planes here from Brazil to have this particular place service it. So, I mean, we're known everywhere. And then as we were talking, he had some cute little graphics with the plane. And we were talking about the plane being put on, you know, our seal.
The city seal.
And then after more discussion, we found out that, because the kids were excited about it too, because they just really were, you know, to be able to see his plane up close. They got in it, and what were they talking about their future plans? It was great. But I found out that it had already gone to the council. I was told it went to the council and was approved. I don't know, to have that change made. So it hasn't? Okay, so then...
He presented it to the city council, and
Okay, but that's-
he showed us the graphic with the plane.
All
and the
right, so
seal.
that's as far as it went.
Yeah,
Okay, so, all right.
but
So-
we've seen it on the seal in the graphic, but that wasn't approved to change the city seal.
All right,
I think
well-
that would, I feel like that would require a charter change, I'm not sure. Might just be,
Well,
but yeah.
after a group of us talking there, we want to look into it anyway. It's just that it's been part of our city for so long, and it just seems like it needs some type of recognition. And if we all looked at it, and if that little plane could just be in the sky, that like says it right there. But anyways, I'm going to do some more research on it and see. So you might see me at a council meeting.
Sounds like fun.
And then James left. I just wanted to, you know, congratulate him on his outstanding performance in the musical Young Frankenstein. And Mr. Thompson had his debut. It was
believe I missed
fabulous.
it.
It was fabulous. The musicians.
It was a lot of fun.
Tabitha Grealis did a wonderful job.
Oh, as
So-
always.
Thank you.
Just a bit of information about the airport. I don't know if you're aware of this, but at one point, I'm not sure when it was transferred, the airport used to be part of Leominster. And when you go over the first bridge from Airport Road to Crawford Street, that's where the town line used to be. And I believe the swap was made. We got the airport, and Leominster got what is now called No Town Reservoir. So, and again, I don't know when that happened, but it happened. So
I
anyway,
think that was like the 50s-ish. Yep.
yeah. Good. Nice.
Could have been around the time my grandfather.
Maybe.
Okay.
I have one communication.
Yes.
James did mention that this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you to all our staff for everything that they do every day. And I also just want to thank all the administrators and PTOs in our schools because they really do put on PTO, Parent-Teacher Organization.
Oh, yes.
They really do a great job putting together a lot of activities and treats for teachers this week. So I just wanted to make sure I thank them. And then teachers tomorrow or staff members tomorrow, when you come into school, there'll be some special treats from Central Office Administration and School Committee for them tomorrow. So
I also wanted to say happy Appreciation Teachers Week also.
Yeah. So
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you, everyone. That good for communications?
That's it.
All right. Next, we have public comment. Public comment. We had public comments offered to be submitted to the superintendent by noon today. Did that happen?
I didn't receive any.
Okay. Anyone in the audience that wishes to speak for public comment, please approach the podium. Seeing none, we'll continue on our agenda. Okay, next up on our agenda, we have the FY26 budget hearing. So we will open the budget hearing now. So the superintendent will present our proposed budget to the school committee. School committee members, please be welcomed to ask questions during the presentation of the superintendents and after the presentation is complete. So let's see. We will have the superintendent present the budget. We will ask questions of committee members. Then we will have public comment. And then we will not be voting on the budget today's meeting. We'll be voting May 19th.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions on the budget process? All right. Very good.
All right.
Would you please present us
We will.
the budget?
So Mr. Roach and I have prepared a brief budget presentation for everyone. So Mr. Roach is going to start by going over each of the line items. And then I will be moving into talking about new positions that I requested back in April and some changes we need to make. And then I will be talking about reductions that we need to make in order to meet our net school spending amount for next school year. So that being said, Mr. Roach, I'm going to let you begin in going over the line items.
Sure, thank you. So some of this is similar to last week, and we did post 2 documents on the website on Thursday of last week, which also provided the information that more or less we reviewed at the April 28th school committee meeting. So this is our 4th time discussing the FY26 budget with school committee, but as we are in this budget hearing, it may be the first time for those in the audience. So I'll go over this in a little bit of detail. So what you have here is our personnel chart that shows all of the personnel that we would pay for out of the general fund, out of the Fitchburg Public Schools funds, and it has it listed by the job type or job class. So I'll explain those and talk a little bit about the main drivers for some of the increases that you would see. So, for example, Unit A would be, that'd be the professional staff, so teachers, guidance counselors, clinical interventionists, deans of students, those folks who are licensed to teach a particular subject matter or grade level or type of focus. So that could be ESL, that could be special ed, it could be some other type of support. So we have 537 Unit A members, and you can see the comparison between FY25 and FY26. So we entered into FY25 without a contract and worked throughout the year and really all of last school year into part of this school year, just about, I believe it was November, that we achieved a tentative agreement. So there is an increase there of 8.2% across the board, and that does account for a number of factors like the cost of living assessment, increased steps, et cetera. So paraprofessionals is our next largest group. We have 158 members there. You can see the increase for the paraprofessionals. That did involve adding step for paraprofessionals. Most of our paraprofessionals are either what's referred to as non-program or program, so more or less they're in the classrooms, and they're supporting teachers in a variety of ways, or they could be in one of our special education, substantially separate programs. So guided learning, pathways, learning perspectives, those types of programs, where students have particular IEP that needs support. There was a big initiative for sure for us to try to support our paraprofessionals by increasing their overall salaries and their hourly rate. So again, I think you see a pretty big increase for that group. As we now shift into some of the other job classes, they do get smaller with clerical, custodial, nurses. Unit B would be the either directors, so the content directors, or the building-based administrators, but not principals. Principals are non-union, so they would be in that mix of 33 folks there. So again, where we were negotiating all of our contracts this year, you do see, I think, a push to try to ensure that our staff are competitively compensated in a variety of ways. When we were working with the first large group, it was Unit A, paraprofessionals, clerical, custodial, and we did quite a bit of comparisons. We used 10 school districts in particular, and we wanted to make sure we moved from being kind of the 9th average salaried district to much higher, and we were able to achieve that over the course of that year plus of negotiations. Yes.
I don't know how to ask you a question as you're presenting.
Yeah, I think that's okay in this process, so feel free.
What does a para receive per hour?
It depends on the job class. So non-program para and program paras are the largest, but we do have some other job classes as well, like the security paras, and then paras that would be RBTs, so they're behavior therapy, or they're like a speech language pathology assistant. So it would range from anywhere in the $22 an hour up to almost $40 an hour, depending upon the type of job that they're doing.
Thank you.
Years of service.
Yep,
in
the step that they're on, that type of thing.
Like that. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So you can see that we have in FY26 all 21 of our non-filled Unit A positions, in addition to other paraprofessional positions that we did not fill, are embedded in that line. So those do include open positions, and it does not include the cafeteria workers, cafeteria managers. We have about 60 more staff that are part of the Fitchburg Public Schools, but it does not include them because they're paid for out of the non-Fitchburg Public Schools general fund. And then that would be substitute teachers as well. So we can move to the next one.
Question.
Yeah.
Reduction in staff of non-union.
Yep, that's going to come up in my last slide, Pete. I'm going to talk to you about that.
Okay.
Because of the deficit that we do have, there has to be some non-union administrative positions that I'm looking at reducing to make the net school spending number. So I will talk to you about that in a second.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this would be our non-personnel budget. It's a smaller amount, but it's what the materials and supplies and other types of things when you look at the schools, and then for some of the other departments it can vary. So working through the schools did see increases. Much of that has to do with the fact that as part of the agreements that we collectively bargained with the teachers and the paraprofessionals, we do now have in both of their contracts their ability to substitute teach for compensation. So for teachers, That can be $45 depending upon whether it's a prep period that they're substitute teaching or if they absorb students over the course of the day. So that typically happens at an elementary school where, say, the first grade teacher is absent and then 5 first grade teachers go into another first grade teacher and another 5 go to another one. Those teachers then receive $45 for the day for that. Paraprofessionals also are able to substitute teach for us as well. Their compensation would be over the course of the day $70. So in that case, I'll use the example of South Street Early Learning Center. Just about every one of their classrooms has a non-program para in the classroom. If the kindergarten teacher, preschool teacher is out, that para could take over that classroom for the day, and their differential is $70 when they submit their timesheet every 2 weeks. So we had to account for that. We are able to hire substitute teachers. We pay $125 for a daily sub, $150 a day for a permanent building sub. Daily subs come in when they can. Permanent building comes in every day, and they actually receive some benefits. They're hard to find. It's hard to attract those folks, and I think we're not alone with that in Fitchburg, but it's been a challenge. So the new agreement, I think, will be very helpful, but we did budget for that, and that's where you see some of the increases by the line items. We did make some decreases. Some of that has to do with the fact, as if you looked at the line-by-line report that outlines each one of these areas and some of the details. Some of that had to do with shifting from an initiative that we launched this year with our first year of some of the Student Opportunity Act funds for professional development. There's implementation costs in the first year that won't be there in the second year, but we are making some reductions. We have to tighten the belt, so to speak, in certain areas like school building maintenance, even though that can be a challenge. And with special education, you know, with contracted services is one of the line items, if you looked at the report, that has been one that we have to sometimes contract out for some of the services like special ed services, speech language pathology, clinical supports. And with the open positions budgeted, we're hoping that we can attract some of the new candidates, some candidates for those positions now that we have, you know, a new collective bargain agreement that hopefully is more attractive than maybe it had been in previous years. So overall, it's a 3.3% increase for our non-personnel budget across all the different line items that we have in our general fund budget. And we can move forward in the slides. Yeah, Dr. Knight.
I'm sorry. What is the $692,924 for fiscal year 25 used for the school committee? And then $681,000 for fiscal year 26?
The vast majority of that is longevity. So in the contracts, so $555,000 of that total is for the longevity benefit that many of our teachers, well, it depends on the unit. Many of the units have in their collective bargain agreement. So, for example...
Oh, that's not the school committee here, right?
Right here.
No.
Okay. I was just saying, I mean, I didn't get the check, so I was just...
Yeah, in that line item report, you see there's 6 line items. There's school committee secretary, advertising, school committee expenses, insurance, legal fees, and then faculty longevity. The largest of the driving force of that 681, though it is a slight decrease from 692,924 from the previous year, just under 2%, it's longevity. And those are embedded into the contracts, and you know, teachers, unit members that are here for a long time can earn an additional $3,000 for the longevity benefit.
I'm not sure if, I'm sorry, you done?
Yes.
You have the totals for school committee. In our packet, we have some of the line item details. Are we going to discuss the line items later, Or can we ask questions about this?
You can ask those,
I'd ask right now.
you can ask those now.
So under school committee, there are two items. Advertising was 10,000 in the current fiscal year. It's being reduced to 5,000
Yeah.
for next year. And school committee expenses, it was 10,500, it's down to 10,000. Is there a reason why those can't be, do we need those at all? Can they be zeroed out completely to save another $15,000? Or I'm not sure, like, for example, I'm not sure what we expend on advertising under the school committee.
Yeah, we have not spent that full line.
That's why we
It's
cut it.
been roughly about that amount, 5,000. There are legal ads that we do need to
Okay.
submit.
Okay.
If we go out, if there's bidding, if there's different things that, like a budget hearing, for example, like
Right,
this.
okay.
We had to pay for that.
Gotcha,
So
okay,
that-
all right.
That's where that would come out of.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think cutting it down at least to 5,000, because we haven't come close to.
No, it's
that.
been
That will-
less than,
that
it's
will,
been about that.
That will meet the needs that we have for next year.
All right, okay. And under school committee expenses, would that cover trips to the MASC annual meeting if people wanted to attend?
Yes,
Do we come close to spending $10,000 every year for that?
yes.
Yes, because of
You do? Okay.
hotels
All right.
and
Yep.
conference fees, yes.
It's also a line item that when presented with field trip requests from various groups, we have used that particular line item as well.
Thank you.
Yep. Sure.
We go on, next slide.
I like just jump in with questions, please. And this was reviewed at April 28th meeting. I have more here if anybody wants it.
That was in your packet.
And
Does
then it was
anyone need an extra
posted
packet?
on Thursday to the Fitchburg Public Schools site. There's a bunch here. And then there's also an overview that we'll be looking at. And
One other question, Mr. Roach. So the school committee secretary for
Yes.
fiscal 25 is 6,424, and then fiscal year 25 it says 0. Are we planning to get rid of somebody?
Nope, so, great question. So as you can, if you remember, Mary Alexandra Molina is
I remember.
now doing the secretary position. So in the past, there was a line item because the previous executive assistant to the superintendent did not want to do that position. Historically, throughout Massachusetts, the executive assistant to the superintendent is the one that actually should be the recording secretary for the school committee. So in the past, the previous person, Patty Picard, didn't want to do that, so that's why we actually had a line item to pay someone to do that. Now with Mary Alexandra Molina doing that as a part of her position, that's why we can actually have a savings there.
And she's not going to get paid anything?
She gets paid in her salary to do it.
Yeah, but the other person that was doing it before, you had to pay someone else before.
Right, but she gets paid, it's in her entire compensation for the district. I include that as one of her items now that she does.
Right, so if you go back a slide and you were to look at the non-union column there, though there is a decrease in that because of just staffing shifts,
Okay.
it would be embedded in that 3.526 million. As opposed to the previous individual didn't work for the Fitchburg Public Schools, so it was truly a stipend. So I'll continue on. So we had presented on April 28th at the last meeting, last Monday, an overview of the personnel lines, reducing those down once we account for individuals who are paid for by either, they're really paid for by the Title I grant or the special ed grant, which is used for some staffing. And so because those are paid for through the grants, we consider the personnel costs reduced by that amount. We then add the total of the non-personnel line items, which we've reviewed there. That does include transportation. We add those together. Then we do subtract transportation because that's a city cost. It doesn't count towards net school spending. That gives us our direct spending budget, though the school district does manage the day-to-day operation of transportation. indirect costs come into play because we have to get to that net school spending foundation amount of $110,532,275. So the next big costs are indirect costs. So those are the city costs. So they're not directly supporting school students necessarily. They come from the city side. At this time last year, that was $25,800,000. So it's big increases. And the indirect costs are really three buckets. All the insurances, and that includes insurances for retirees and so forth. That's about $15 million, a little more than that. It's also retirement contributions. That's about 6.8. That's about 6.1 million. And then the two assessments to the city for students who are school choice out to a different public school district. They live in Fitchburg, but they're choosing a different district. And so there's a differential paid for those students by the city. Though we count them on our total foundation amount because they are school-aged, student-aged students who reside in the city and attend a public school, they count for us in the foundation at $110 million. But there is a portion that's paid for them to attend another school. And then charter schools. So there's a charter school assessment. That combined, charter school, school choice out, is about $6.8 million. There's a reduction on the charter school. You do get some back. But that gets to the $28 million right there pretty quickly.
Jeremy, can you just make sure that the committee knows that the first estimate of this number for indirect costs was around $25.8 million back a few weeks ago? And we already, because this number came in higher, we already had to cut $2 million from our budget, correct?
Absolutely. So when we met March 17th, when we met on April 7th, and it's no fault of anyone's, I don't blame anyone. It's not anyone. It is what it is. We typically do get the indirect cost amount around the beginning of April. Last year it was April 14th, I believe, or April 20th even. This year it was April 14th or 20th, one or the other. So that's fairly standard. What has been challenging, and if anybody watched the news this morning, there was a great feature on the Fox 25 News, the Boston one, about school budgets across the state and really struggling. And three factors are pretty common across every district. Their insurance costs, their transportation costs, and then there's certainly other costs related to just personnel and other things of this nature. So when we had our budget presentations on March 17th and April 7th, we were anticipating maybe $26 million, but not 28.8. So we have since reduced the general fund operating budget for the Fitchburg Public Schools by just under $3 million in about 2 weeks.
So we've done that work already. So what Jeremy, myself, and administrators had to do, we had to go line by line, each line, and make up that $2 million plus difference already. But we still also have another deficit up here. That's another $852,750.
And that was
April 28th.
That was last week.
That was last week.
Right.
Because we had proposed positions on April 7th, 13 positions. There were some reductions that we were looking at making, 3 overall, but that was an increase overall of $600,000 plus. And then now that we have Chapter 74 program with Monty Tech, there is a certain amount that we will pay for the number of students. Currently, it's 44 students enrolled as juniors and seniors in carpentry and electrical. Awesome. It's amazing. But, we pay the differential of the per pupil amount, $19,000, just above for us, and then what the typical vocational per pupil is, which is about $24,500. So it's about $5,000-ish, a little more. So we were over last week by just under $900,000. Again, we've been working, and if we go to the next slides, I think this is where we get into.
I'm gonna hop in.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you can go back to the previous slide. So the delta plus or minus is 852, 751.
Yep. That,
As of April
this is-
28th.
Okay,
That's of April 28th.
Okay.
Now,
okay, now it's,
based on what I'm going to talk about right
Okay,
now,
all right, okay.
we've gone through and had to make reductions
Okay.
of staff now.
Okay.
We can't cut the lines anymore.
Okay.
We've already cut the lines by 2.1, 2.2 million.
Okay.
I can no longer cut those lines. We're at bare minimum in our lines. Now it's going to positions.
okay,
So now, in order for us to get to our net school spending number and not be $852,751 in the red, this is what I am recommending that we cut so we can actually get to net school spending. Okay? All right. When I came to you, I was recommending 13 positions. So based on the additional positions, we've had to go back and make some changes in what we're asking for. So what we tried to do in this exercise was not eliminate any positions that were going to directly affect students and content and delivery of instruction. So that's what we had to do, okay? So based on the additional positions that I recommended, there have been some cuts that we are going to be recommending to make. So instead of adding the security monitor at Goodrich, we're going to take that off. But I have a solution to that in the next slide. So let me get through this first, and once we get into the next slide, it will make more sense. So for the positions that I asked for, I'm going to eliminate the new position at Goodrich, the security monitor. And then the other three positions that I asked that were going to be new, I'm going to eliminate the new nurse at Crocker, the additional BCBA, the additional building level support. This is not support for programming, it's support for the whole district or the whole school on behavioral. And then the other piece is that we're going to be eliminating the additional custodian that we asked for at Crocker. Okay? Yes, Debbie.
And I know you're looking at where can we cut, but with a new building being that much larger and that many more
Yep.
students, I'm concerned
So
about.
I have a solution.
Okay.
So let me talk about
All right,
what
I'll
the
hear you
solution
out.
is.
Okay.
So these are the new positions that I asked for. I'm going to ask to eliminate the security monitor, the nurse, the BCBA, and the building custodian. So those 4 positions, okay? That being said, on the next slide, in order for us to get to net school spending, this is what my ask is to eliminate 4 positions, okay? So the first one, the nurse shift to indirect costs. So we currently have a nurse on our budget, the school's budget. We're just going to shift that into indirect costs, which will be a savings for us for $86,374. So it's just changing the pot of money this person's paid out of, okay? The security monitors. So here's my recommendation. I am going to move 1 security monitor from Fitchburg High School, which they currently have 6 security monitors. I would like to take that 1 security monitor and move that position to Goodrich. So it's not an additional position, I'm just shifting from having 6 at the high school to 5 and moving 1 to Goodrich. So there'll be a security monitor there. And then,
Question.
yep,
If you're removing an active security monitor, are you able to make up the difference with the 5 remaining ones?
yes, we are. Yep, we've met with John Braga, Dr. Braga at the high school, and we're able to make sure there's coverage for that. Okay?
And we have the new security system that's going to
Correct.
be installed for FY26 at the high school.
It's already installed.
It's up and
It's
running.
up and running now. So we have better visibility with students. There's cameras in all our hallways. So we're able to actually monitor students much better now with the new system. Okay? The other security position that I would like to eliminate is 1 from Longsjo Middle School. So that will take them down to 3 security monitors to 2. Remember, we still have a full-time SRO, school resource officer, that's stationed at Longsjo. So they're still there, able to support them, okay? In addition to that, Longsjo also has has an additional assistant principal at Longsjo, so they have 2 assistant principals, okay? So that will account for supporting that school for security purposes. Okay? And also they have a dean also, yep. I hate to do this, but looking at our budget, we do need to eliminate one assistant principal. Currently, there's 2 assistant principals at McKay Elementary School. My recommendation is to eliminate 1 assistant principal at McKay, leaving only 1 assistant principal there, like the other 2 elementary schools. And then that person will be shifting positions. So that's one elimination that I'd like to do, a savings of $136,000. The other position is a .5 science. We have not been able to fill that .5 science, and based on enrollment and numbers for next year, we no longer need that position. So it's not losing a person, it's losing a position, but we're able to actually cover that at the high school with the current amount of teachers that we have. So that's saving a half a salary at $44,250. Special education, my recommendation is to eliminate 1 of the 5 open moderate sped positions at Longsjo Middle School. So currently they have 5 openings, correct? So we're going to eliminate 1 of those. Based on the meeting I had last week with the special education staff and the numbers for next year, we'll be able to service students based on their IEPs with only 4 teachers, not 5. So we're able to make that reduction there. That's a savings of $88,500. The other reduction that I'm recommending is currently at Longsjo, they do have an additional 2 people on their 6th grade team. Next year, based on the budget, based on the numbers going to Longsjo, we do not need to have the additional 3rd team there. So we're going to eliminate the additional team, meaning that they only have 2 teams of 6th grade teachers at Longsjo, which is exactly similar to Memorial.
Like the red team and the gray team?
Yep, red team and green team, red and gray, yep. So they have 4 content teachers on 1 team, ELA, math, science, and social studies. They'll now have another team, ELA, math, science, and social studies. Currently, they have 3 teams, but because of numbers, they don't need that 3rd team next year. So those people right now, the 2 people that are actually in those roles, they will not be losing their position. They'll be actually moved to a different position that's open in the district. Okay? The additional, so that's a savings, I'm sorry, of $177,000. At central office, looking at central office positions, because again, I can't take any more positions away from our schools because they're needed. I'd like to make a reduction in the enrollment department, eliminating 1 enrollment clerical position that will save about $55,000. The other position that has been very difficult, but I am requesting that we do eliminate our communications coordinator at central office, and that will be a savings of $73,130. I talked to you about earlier the additional custodian position.
Is there any possibility, we worked for years to get that position back into the system, the coordinator position? Is there any chance maybe bringing that back as a half-time position in the future?
Possibly. Possibly. Yep.
Yeah, because we worked on publicity for the school system. So if there's any possibility of bringing that back in the future as a half-time position.
And for school committee members, just to clarify, during the presentation, I'd ask that we ask questions of the presentation, after which we will have an opportunity to deliberate amongst the board as well.
Jim, did you have a question?
Yeah, on that communications coordinator, to consolidate with other roles, who will be assuming all of the roles that the communications coordinator has been doing over the past 7 years?
So that will look differently. So currently, there's different IT staff that can that actually supports some of the social media piece right now. So that person will be taking on more responsibility. Mary Alexandra Molina will be taking on more responsibility when it comes to district-wide newsletters and pushing information out. Myself will be taking on more information. Jeremy, more responsibility. Jeremy will be taking on more, I will be, Glenda will be, in addition to all our school principals and assistant principals, they'll be responsible for taking pictures and updating that and sending that to us to post.
And you mentioned IT, and I don't know how many people are in IT, but I don't see that on here at all. That's not anything in there that can be reduced to compensate for the coordinator?
Currently not for the IT department, no. No.
It's kind of a bare bones department,
It's a
honestly.
bare bones, yeah.
Considering what they do across the district.
Okay.
So the additional positions, the custodial positions, again, I'm removing the new custodian for Crocker. However, we currently have float custodians that float to different schools to support that. We're going to take that assigned float and have them support Crocker moving forward for the custodian. Okay? So there'll be the float that goes around to other schools. That person will be reassigned to Crocker.
Because we have an existing custodian at Crocker, but the new school will be significantly larger.
Correct.
So we anticipate needing additional support.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's about just under 50,000 square feet bigger. There are 3 current custodial members who are assigned to Crocker. As Superintendent Thompson said, we do have 2 floaters who cover for issues that arise and also for attendance and that type of thing. So the idea is to try to have one of those floaters there pretty consistently.
I talked to you about the security monitor, the repurposing of the position, moving one of the 6 from Fitchburg High, moving one down to Goodrich to support Goodrich. The nurse, currently we actually have a floating nurse also. So that floating nurse will actually be assigned to support Crocker during the day as needed, during those busy times, probably during lunches, when more kids have to come for blood sugar checks and other needs. So that floater nurse will be assigned at different times to support Crocker Elementary School.
Of which we currently have how many nurses?
So currently we have 2 nurses in every building, except for the Fitchburg High has 3, correct, Jeremy?
Yes.
And Goodrich has 1. Okay? And then the last piece is the additional BCBA behavioral support. Again, this is not the programs, because there are new programs being added to Crocker. The behavioral support was asked for by the Crocker principal in more of like a dean or a behaviorist to support the day-to-day behavior, kind of like an additional assistant principal. But because of the budget, talking to Mr. Bolak, he feels that they're able to get by for next year without that position. So based on the conversation I had with Mr. Bolak and his team, we are recommending that we remove that from the budget, which was another savings of $88,500. That being said, we were able to reduce with these shifts in position to $899,890, which now we are at net school spending and a little bit below that, which is $47,139.
Can you go back to the previous slide again?
Yes.
Just 2 questions. Line 2, the savings on line 2 for the eliminate 1 security monitor from Longjo, that's just, that salary, the $101,000, that's the 1 salary for the 1 position that's being eliminated? Or are there?
No, 2 positions.
2 positions?
2 positions.
Yeah.
Because remember, we're moving 1 from, so the savings comes from not adding that additional position at Goodrich and just shifting 1 from the high school. So that's where that Goodrich savings comes from.
There was one added in the
Remember?
original budget.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I added it here.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my other question is, on the positions where people are being shifted, relocated, does that come into any kind of issues with seniority in the unions, and will that be seamless, or will people be bidding on different positions, or no?
No. Based on this, Jeremy and myself and Glenda, we've had conversations with all these people that it is affecting.
Okay.
So they're all aware of it, but the majority of people more than likely will end up in a different position throughout the school district.
Thank you.
Okay.
And quite a few of them are either newly proposed or unfilled.
Okay.
So maybe the clerical one
Yep.
would be the most, to your question specifically, Mr. Walsh.
But there may be an opening
Yeah,
at another school
I
for
think
that
there
person
is.
to transfer as of today, so I think we'll be okay.
Jeremy, in previous meetings, you were not able to be precise as to the amount of monies that we'd receive from the state, and has that been determined, the final amount that we're going to receive?
We received 86 million plus in Chapter 70. So yeah, I mean, I think at our last meeting, let me just go to that presentation. We received $86,211,388 in Chapter 70, which equates to about $14,887 towards the per pupil expenditure. The city is required to contribute $24,320,887, which is roughly just under 4,200 of the per pupil expenditure. It ends up being more, as we saw with indirect costs there.
Transportation.
In transportation, yeah.
So again,
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
so we did get to the number that we needed to get to. We're a little below that
We're
still.
below.
But again, this is representing 4 of the proposed new positions being reduced, the 2.5 open positions that we currently do not have filled being reduced, and then 4 existing positions being reduced. Okay? So next piece for everyone, just
One more question?
Yep.
So is the communications coordinator position, is that the only position that's currently filled that's being eliminated?
No.
No.
There is an assistant principal position that will be eliminated that's currently filled,
But they're shifting.
but no, one will be eliminated at one of the schools.
Eliminate one and then shift from.
Someone will shift over to that position
Yeah.
based on seniority.
Mr. Superintendent, so I know you said it. I think I heard it. Just wanted to, get some clarification. So in order to meet the budget and to, yes, in order to meet the budget, you are not cutting any one of the teachers, the ones that are directly in front of the student. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Jim, was that?
Jim, did I answer your question?
Yeah, so it's just the one assistant principal.
Yeah, let me just make sure. One assistant principal.
We have
and then
one
the security
that's
too.
resigning.
Okay.
So essentially, it's moving someone, but there isn't any particular individual who's going to be laid off.
Except for communications.
So, yeah, communications, one of the security people,
Yes.
So they
one
won't-
of, hold on, let me finish, one of the clerical people, but I think there's another position that
Yeah.
that person can go into, so I am going to count that person still.
Okay.
Assistant principal, security, communications, and I think that's really it.
Okay.
Right, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything else?
No.
Just those 3.
So there won't be blue slips?
There'll be, right now, 3 of them.
3?
Yeah, but we're trying to reduce that even more. And most likely, there'll probably be only 1. Actually, no, there won't be any, because I think I can offer the assistant principal who possibly will be non-renewed because of this. There's an open teaching position that person could go to if they're interested in. So actually, more than likely, all these people that we have to eliminate will probably find
Yeah.
a spot somewhere.
There'd be an opportunity somewhere else.
Except for communications. I don't have another communication director position. So that being said, just a reminder, this evening is the first reading of the budget. We'll be opening it up to public comment in a minute. Our next meeting on the Resource Subcommittee, based on my recommendations, in addition to what we hear from the public today, we'll go back and review that information, and I will get feedback from the committee, the Resource Subcommittee, based on the recommendations that I made and the recommendations based on the final budget. And then when we come back on May 19th, we'll have our final reading and a possible vote on our new budget on the 19th.
Just a clarification on the floater part. I know you mentioned like the nurse floater would go over during those busy times when, so when you mentioned the custodian floater, is that going to be a regular time or is that going to be like when?
Yep, so we can assign a regular time for them. I mean, we haven't come to that and said, oh, this is the time you're going to do it, but we can repurpose that floater if it's approved, and that floater can go over and support Crocker at a specific time, whether it's every day at a certain time or if it's just moving them completely over at Crocker and not having a floater anymore.
Okay. Thank you.
Good work.
It was hard. I mean, we reduced $3 million from our budget.
Yeah, yes. I mean, which is not ideal, but it's part of the process. We work closely with the city to try to make sure that we have to meet net school spending. That's the goal. And I think with what we currently have here, we'll continue to look at it and revise, but we're at a place where we've met that $110,532,275 requirement. Because even though it's a little bit under, things can shift, and $47,000 on a $110 million budget is
Pretty tight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for the presentation. All right, next up on our agenda, we have budget hearing public comment. I now invite anyone in the audience who wishes to speak. Please approach the podium, identify yourself by name and city of residence, and the item you're speaking to on the agenda, and you're free to make a public comment of no more than 2 minutes in length.
Jacqueline Wetchy, Fitchburg resident. The greatest factor in quality education is the student-teacher ratio. The vast majority of your non-capital budget should go to teachers, yet over a third of your headcount for FY26 is for non-teachers. Pretty much across the board in all subjects in all schools, 3/4 of students are not proficient as measured by MCAS. Now, tests aren't the only way to evaluate learning, but these test results do point to a serious problem. You didn't release the same level of detail for next year as this year, so going by FY25, you had 50 teachers out of 112 employees at South Street Elementary, so less than half the employees were teachers. You have a director of food services when it's outsourced, a community engagement coordinator, a director of social emotional learning, and a bunch of guidance counselors and psychologists, including 8 at Longsjo and 16 at the high school. When I taught at Fitchburg High years ago, there were 4. If you look at private schools, they don't have all these overhead costs. It is time to refocus on academics, not telling children what they should feel. We should also consolidate schools so we stop paying over $1 million a year in rent to Fitchburg State. You should work with the federal government. After a budget-breaking year in school transportation, you are projecting another 42.9% increase for transporting migrant children. It's unsustainable, and ICE can help. One big cost is special education. You should reach out to the Department of Health and Human Services, which will be taking over this function after the Department of Education is disbanded. Volunteer for initiatives that may bring additional funding to our city. Secretary Kennedy has a great interest in autism in particular, and we could potentially have a great partnership with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wetchy.
Good evening, Dr. Joshua Klaus, resident of Fitchburg. That was long-winded, balls deep in boredom. I just want to say congratulations to meeting net school spending. It's quite a project. I know it's very, very challenging, and we all are waiting to see what's going to happen with the destruction of the Department of Education. So there's a lot of opportunity in the future. I just wanted to say thank you, an awesome job on the budget this year.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any further public comment? Seeing none.
Oh, one more.
Oh, all right.
Hi, Samantha Freehart, Fitchburg resident. Being in the school the other day, I'm very happy to see your budget. I was a little bit nervous with the different personnel, but I like to see that the paraprofessionals are getting what they deserve. We're keeping the positions where we need them and then kind of cutting back where we don't. I know on the communications front, a lot of the PTOs and the principals and stuff can kind of take on that since we do our own advertising anyways to the community. So, in my personal opinion, great job. I like to see it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Further public comment? Last chance. All right. Seeing no further public comment, I would ask that we entertain a motion for closing our public budget hearing.
Make a motion to close the public comment.
Okay, motion and second to close the hearing. Questions, comments?
Oh, not about that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous, correct? All right, that's closed. Thank you very much. All right, we now have,
That one action item that's left, Mayor. This was, if you remember last time, the representative came to talk about the Crocker Elementary School solar roof installation, and we needed a motion to actually send this over to City Council for their consideration. So that motion is listed as an action item.
Make a motion to approve 25-510.
Second?
motion and second to approve action item 25-510 to send the solar roof installation project for Crocker Elementary School to the City Council for their consideration. Questions or comments? All in favor of this?
Aye.
All right, that is unanimous. Thank you for that action item. All right. We
That's
have
it?
other business, and that is the end of our meeting. We will continue our budget hearing process.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, motion and second to adjourn. Any questions or comments on that motion?
I was actually just going to see if I could ask a question separate. It was not a question as to understanding in the budget, but just a kind of a question as to consideration.
Could we, would you consider rescinding the adjournment motion?
Yes, rescind.
Okay.
Okay. Just really quickly, in regards to the budget line, with the reduction in the position that we were trying, for the reduction of the special education position for Longs Joe, there was 5 currently.
Yes.
And you were looking to reduce it by 1.
Yes,
You
4.
did indicate that the 4 could handle it. The only question I wanted to ask about is where, with Longs Joe and McKay looked at from the state, from the MCAS standings, they felt that they were underachieving, needing additional assistance.
Correct.
And special education and ESL were the areas of focus.
Correct.
And so where we are reducing a position or looking to reduce a position from that, do you think that could negatively impact that?
Well, based on the conversation I had with the Longsjo administration, based on the amount of special ed students, and these are inclusion special ed, so it's the students who are not sub-separate, and it pulled out, they're actually included in the day-to-day classroom. Based on the current numbers that we have projected to go to Longsjo, there doesn't need to be 5 teachers to service those students, there only needs to be 4. So based on our current data and the number of students who are going over there that are identified as special needs, currently, based on the numbers that we have, we can handle that caseload with 4 teachers.
Okay.
I can add to that, too, because I think I might not have presented it clearly. It's 5 positions that we've just never filled.
Oh.
So that's not, we have I can get the exact number of special educators who currently work at Longsjo, but there are 5 that we just never filled this year. So it's just eliminating one of those 5 open special ed, moderate special ed inclusion positions. We hope, and I think we're seeing, I think as we talked about last week, with this new collectively bargained agreement, we're seeing an increase in the number of applicants that could also be related to reductions in force in other area communities as well. It's unfortunate, but that is happening. So we're hoping that we are going to be able to fill those 4, but as Superintendent Thompson said, the team feels very confident that they were able to deliver the services that they need to the kids. with the personnel number that we would have then.
And I just want to clarify that just because we don't have those current roles filled, because we can't find certified special ed teachers, because we couldn't find certified sped teachers, we actually had to contract out with a third party that actually sends us a special education staff to service these kids. And that amount is much more than what we pay our teachers. So we have to pay that salary in addition to a fee to that agency, which gets very costly and expensive. So our goal is to actually fill these positions with employees that are Fitchburg Public School employees and not a third-party employee.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
And I just want to add, I really feel I have to say this. I'm really concerned about losing their communications coordinator. He does such an amazing job, and just the perception of Fitchburg Public Schools has been improving, and just the engagement that we get from our families, knowing everything that's going on. And I feel like one thing that we do lack is communicating some of the programs that we have at the school. So I just have to add that I feel like if there's anything that we can do to squeeze in something so that we don't lose our communications coordinator, I feel like that we're doing a real disservice to the public schools. Just
Appreciate that, Mayor.
I agree.
So what we can do is, at our resource subcommittee meeting next week, we'll take a look at the line items again, and we'll see what else can be cut.
everybody bring your pencils,
Yes.
sharpened.
It's just that, for years, we tried to keep that position and get it back after we lost it. I just think
I know with the city of Fitchburg, on the city side, we have no communications coordinator, and I know a lot of it, falls on me. And it's hard to get the message out and do everything that needs to be done. And
I agree with that. And you know what? This is a tough decision, and like I said, I'm willing to take on more, and my team.
I know, but John, you people are doing so much already, and trying to add more in, and you're just so busy now.
Yeah.
And particularly the job you've done on this budget. I mean, where would you find time to do?
Sleep's overrated, anyways.
That's what I've been saying.
No, I appreciate that from all of you. So, you know what? These are just recommendations. We'll go back on Tuesday and go through it again. We'll figure it out, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion and second to adjourn. I'll take that by unanimous consent at this point.
Thank you.